Hey folks, it's Richard here. I'm making this video and I want to post it to my San Leandro forum here. They may not or may allow it. I don't know if they allow this format. But what made me want to do this is I've been accused of posting stuff that have nothing to do with San Leandro, like people getting shot in Minneapolis, protesters, people following or photographing the masked thugs that are occupying that city, have nothing to do with us, and so forth. So what made me think about this was the situation in San Leandro. I was going up, heading north up Bancroft. I was going up to hit Estadio and go up to the shop at the top. As I realized I see the traffic. I got stuck in the traffic. The school's out. It was pandemonium. There's traffic everywhere. Halfway up Estadio, halfway west on the other side down of Estadio. Then there's both north and south of Bancroft is blocked. I got in the right lane to turn right, but there's parents that are lining up along the curb, both sides of Estadio on Bancroft to pick up their kids. It was a complete mess. And of course, what's the problem there? It's the same down here with the high school, right? So what's the problem? It's not the schools. I know the right wingers will come up with all reasons like that. It's not the schools. It's not individually the problem of the traffic department in San Leandro. It's not just character flaws, people messing up or something like that. The problem lies in it's a crisis of capitalism, and indeed of global capitalism. That's the bloody problem. If you take capital, well, it made me think about when I went to school in England, and I was 12 miles from our school. I was Catholic, so they'd send us to school in the city. There were buses that came around and picked us up. You know, there's no public transit here to speak of. Parents have to drive their kids to school, and there is also a question of safety. There's no public transit system really in the United States, no mass transit, and so the car is king, and that was king because of the power of the auto lobby. Remember that they got freeways built for them, the profiteers and GM and the big auto companies, and 20 miles of land either side for the railroads. They got that free. They got that from the public, and the freeways were built by the public. So the thing is, that's the cause of the problem, is that there should be buses to take kids to school, safely take kids to school. The schools, on the other hand, are another part of the problem. They want to get their private sector wants to get their grubby little hands on the schools because it's a good business investment, same as the United Postal Service. The Postal Service is the most efficient operation in this country. You get your mail no matter where you live. And once they privatize it, they'll wipe out a crap load of them, 4,000 or 5,000 of those, because they don't make a profit. But the thing is that's the cause of the problem. It's not character flaw. Capitalism globally is in crisis, and US capitalism in the US is number one on the pecking order, but it's losing. It's under fierce competition from China, from Russia, from the BRICS, and so forth. Many of the former colonial countries are looking to China because they've been plundered and raped and robbed by the Western imperialist powers, including the United States. And so it's not the fault. Capitalism, this crisis, crisis is of the system. It's just like racism. It's a systemic crisis. It's the racism. Malcolm X said you can't have capitalism without racism, and it's a systemic crisis. But so these crises, they're not anomalies. They're a result of mistakes or corruption in the sense, or character flaws. They're inherent features of capitalism. Capitalism depends on exploitation, competition, expansion. It produces inequality as a matter of design. Marx pointed that out a long time ago. And they will not, the capitalist class will not, workers in the post-war era managed to wring, with their own parties, managed to wring certain reforms and welfare reforms, the welfare state and so forth. But in the last analysis, you can't regulate this system into producing for everybody, making everybody, what was said in the Declaration of Independence, I think it was that one, you know, the right to happiness and all of that. It can't do that. And it can't do it in this period, even US capitalism. And the US capitalism, as it's losing its global number one position is it's facing threats, it will be even more vicious, even more aggressive. No empire, no hegemon has ever left the scene of history quietly. The British in Kenya, they knew they were done, but what did they do? They were the most violent. The South African apartheid regime, it knew it was done also, but it was vicious up until the end. And that's what we're facing. They're turning domestically inward now. These characters that are opposing me on this list, if this gets published on this list, they will even come after them. They're small fry, and history shows what happens to small fry psychopaths like that. You know, they get taken in too. So the issue for us and the object. That's why the right wing and the Christian right and Christian nationalists, the Oath Keepers and the Proud Boys and the other right wing white supremacist militia types, many of them now have joined ICE. This is Trump's black shirts. You know, Mussolini had the black shirts. This is Trump's black shirts. You know, but the Democratic Party will not. It's a capitalist party, and the capitalist class are entrenched and globally connected, and they have no incentive to transform the system, which it benefits so profoundly from. They just cannot do that. It will take a mass movement to push back. The US is in. Look at our infrastructure. I remember. I'll end on this. I'm getting too long. But I remember growing up in this village, and my dad had a pub, and he worked up at the American Air Base. He was very fond of Americans. Most British people are. He was in prison camp in Japan with them, and they'd come down to the pub, and we looked to them. You know, that was the mid-60s. You know, the best and the brightest. But Halbertson's book. You know, and look at it today. The Chinese must be laughing themselves. You know, but the solution is a mass movement, a political party of our own, and a revolutionary transformation of society. There's no escaping that. A transformation of production to a global system of democratic socialist, a global system of democratic socialist federation of states globally that produces on the basis of cooperation and social need. That's not utopia. The idea that we can continue and maintain a human civilization, that's utopia. Anyway, just a few thoughts.